right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. We are live. Give you a few minutes to get up in here. As you get in here and stuff, give me an audio check. Let me know everything is okay and stuff, and then we'll go ahead and break into the discussion today, which is, the discussion of family. Um, yeah, so again, give you a few minutes to get in here and stuff again. Give me an audio check. Let me know everything's good. Also, if you have any questions, and stuff like that, put them on out there. I'll try to answer them as much as possible. Um, I know I haven't been going live. All right, Mr. Hill, how you doing? I know I haven't been going live and stuff like I supposed to have been, but um, and so I just give you an answer today as to why I haven't been going live, which brings me again to today's topic, the topic of family. All right, so we got a minute in here and stuff. Let's go. Um, as people very well know, when you get into this industry, all right, Mr. Robbins, how you doing? It's no secret about what comes with, the, well, what's to be expected when you jump out here into this industry and stuff. People talk about regional, OTR, local, so on and so forth. And so, you know, um, family is always going to be one of those issues that's going to be circled around what you do. It's and this industry, just like anything else, can make you or break you. It comes with its own set of challenges. It comes with its own set of challenges and stuff, and it just like everything else. It's just, the difference is that, when your shift is over, you're not going home. You're not going home to discuss anything. It's either going to be on the phone or FaceTime or something. Even though communication has been, you know, communication has been more refined than how it was 18 years ago when I started out. There was no cell. There were cell phones, but I didn't have I didn't have $500-600 to have one. I didn't get my first cell phone till um, 2000 and 2005. Yeah, 2005 is when I got my first cell phone and kept it on consistently. Um, I was offered some, I was offered one, but the bill was just too high and stuff like that. Paying the bill was a pain in the butt, cause, it's not like how it is now. You can go online and pay the bill and stuff. You had to actually find the store, those sort of things there. So, again, it just, and even with the cell phones, you had, all right, trucking with Blue Money, you know, you had minute plans and stuff. You had minute plans, and then you had nights and weekends. And again, over time things got better to where you could communicate with family, but it wasn't something that you could just talk to people and stuff and stay on the phone for long periods of time. So whatever issue you had to make it quick, about what it was, and say, listen, I'll talk to you later about it. So if it was something that was going on that was counterproductive, a lot of times, it didn't get resolved. In fact, it only made things worse, because it was a period in between where you just didn't speak. And so, family has always been a factor. It's been a factor and stuff, in this industry. And so, I mean, I guess a lot of people, and stuff. I mean, that's one of their number one concerns there and stuff, is that, well, how are things going to be different when I get into this industry? And then some people have, people just have different perceptions. Some people say, well, you should be single. You should be single. You should. All right, Mr. Cunningham, how you doing? Um, you should be single. A person that's married shouldn't be doing this, or you shouldn't have a girlfriend and stuff like that, so on and so forth. You know, and for some people it works in the industry, some it don't. And so um, what I learned, with two failed marriages is one, you can't really blame the industry. You can't really blame the industry and stuff if things aren't on the up and up. You know, that's number one. Number two is that in a relationship, when you make that transition from, you know, whatever it is that you're doing, and then you decide to move into a house together. If you decide to move into a house together, whether you're married or not, and again, I'm not trying to break into anyone's ideology about their perception on, you know, relationships or whatnot. I'm just giving it to you from a generalized perspective. But anytime you make that step into, you know, you having your place, you having yours, and then y'all come together in one house, that's a partnership. And in any partnership, at first, to go into a partnership, you got to have an understanding about your partner. You got to have an understanding about your partner. And so, you know, what we don't look at in relationships is that a relationship is just like anything else. There's going to be a lot of business. There's going to be more business going on than emotional things in relationships. It's going to be more business. You're going to be doing things and stuff on the aspect of money. You know, you're going to be having savings accounts, checking the savings accounts. You're going to have houses, apartments, houses, furniture. You're going to have credit. You know, you're going to have credit. And those are the basic things and stuff. Food, clothing, and shelter. That's the premise of all people, you know, no exception. But, you know, that's the thing we tend to shy away from. We look at things from an emotional standpoint all the time in relationship. And we don't look at it from the aspect of business. And so people think like, well, if you look at it from business, then you can't be emotional. And for the most part, that's correct. When it comes to business, you can't be emotional. You see what I'm saying? Because there are things on the line that you're putting up. You see, there are things on the line that you're putting up and stuff. And so again, it's that, you know, when you go into a business deal with a business partner and you got emotions, then the person that's emotional is going to be the one that's going to get ran over. Even though from a financial perspective, right? From a financial perspective. All right, Mr. Horton, how you doing? You got that concept, you know, you got the concept of going out here and take care of what you have to take care of. You know, a bill comes up, you pay it. Those sort of things there and stuff. So you got a basic concept of financial literacy. But in a relationship, most of the things that you're going to do in the relationship is going to be business. And so you got to go in with a business perspective. You got to have a business perspective, a business mindset, because at the end of the day, emotions is not going to take care of any of those bills at the house. Emotion is not going to get the children fed. It's not going to get you fed, you know. So you got to look at it from the aspect of business. Understand, in business, there's going to be sacrifice. There's going to be a lot of sacrificing in business, no matter whether you decide to get your own truck or whether you decide to be a company driver. You're still on the business aspect of things. There's no exception. None. You know. And people tend to shy away from it and say, well, okay, the reason why I don't own a truck is because, you know, I'm doing this for business. I'm doing this for family obligation. I want to be around my children. I'm doing this for my wife. You see, but you still work, you still working, you still have to provide. So even though you use whatever excuse and stuff that you want to, you still haven't escaped the business aspect of things. You still haven't escaped it. You're still obligated to take care of the business side of things in your home. You still have to provide food, clothing, and shelter. And again, there's no emotion involved in that. Either, you're going to have to do it, and the best way and the only way to do it is from a business perspective. Now, when you go into a partnership, people have their own perception of how they're going to do things. And this is where we get crushed. This is where we get jammed up right here every time. A person may decide that they're going to go out here and work, right? They're going to get the things and stuff that they're going to be moving towards that American dream, so to speak. You want the house with the picket fence in a nice neighborhood. You want the nice car. You want as much capital as you can get and stuff to go out here and partake in a lot of things. Like you want to take vacations. Which consist of cruises, going, traveling internationally and stuff. If you have children, then you're putting away for their future. Whether it's for them to go to college or take up a trade or take over the business or whatever. So again, you're putting these things and stuff intact, which again is going to require you to put a lot of focus, right? Because again, you're doing things from a business perspective. So your legacy building, because again, a lot of us and stuff don't have generational wealth that's passed down to us and stuff for the most part, most of us. But so again, you're legacy building. And with you building up a legacy, again, you're going to have to it's going to require time, energy, and resource into these things to build this stuff up, right? So your attention is going to be based upon that. Now, if you're in a partnership, you got to start putting your checks and balances right there, right then, and say, okay, we're going to be bringing up a plan, and this plan, from my perspective, this is how I'm going to be handling things and stuff like that. So then your partner, you got to see where their mind is and stuff and say, okay, you have a real open-end discussion and see where they are. And if they're on the emotional side of things when it comes to business, then your relationship is usually going to end in failure. You're going to wind up being divorced. Somebody's going to wind up getting weak. Whether it's you or whether it's the person you're with, somebody's going to get weak. Because the plan isn't understood. And in any business platform, in any business setting, everything has to be understood. Okay? When you go and you're talking about expanding your business and you're talking about going to get a loan, you're talking about getting the loans and stuff like that. When you set your one is this thing catching on. Okay, all right, there we go. All right. Sorry about that. But anyway, when you set up your portfolio and you present it to your investors, when you set it to your investors or the people, the credit board or the bank, they want to know everything and stuff from start to finish to give them the confidence necessary for them to invest in your business. That way, everybody is on board, right, about what you're doing on the aspect of business. Being in your house is no different. Everybody has to be on the same sheet of music. It's not to say, well, I'm going to be doing things my way and that's that. But it has to be understood on both parts and stuff because, you come together to say what's going to be more efficient in this house as far as the aspect of business, because bills got to be paid, right? And we have these things and stuff that we're trying to get and maintain. So, if your idea and stuff, right, of having something is a lot different from mine and stuff, and it's not efficient on my part. It's more efficient on yours, but not so efficient on mine. Then that's a one-sided business deal. And usually, the person that's going to be the one capitalizing upon it is the one that's working to the benefit of. So you see, that's not good business right there. That's not good business right there. And usually the person that's not benefiting is going to wind up going elsewhere, right, to seek new partnership with somebody else. And that's your relationship. So, whatever if you're leading with sex, then again, is sex going to help you take care of the things that you have to take care of? Because if so and stuff, then okay, use sex as a tool of business. Otherwise that and stuff, I mean, those things that you just gotta put it to the side. And so again, emotions are things that people are gonna have. But if it's not gonna be helping you from a business perspective, then you're gonna have to leave it alone. It's not to say that, well, you can't open up, and express your feelings and emotions and stuff like that. But the problem is that we do it in the wrong place at the wrong time. You sitting there and stuff and you about to get thrown out of your house. You about to get thrown out of your house and your money's about to be taken, and you're just losing everything and stuff. And so now this, oh, well, if you just would have showed more emotion, right? If you just would have showed me more love and attention, none of these things and stuff would have happened. And again, none of those things was achieved. None of those things were achieved through emotion. None of it was achieved through emotion, but yet you're losing everything. And so, again, you're losing everything because emotion is a tool that's going to be used against you to achieve those things that you have, right? That's why you're losing your home. That's why you're losing your home and your car, and why all your finances and stuff are being taken. Because, it was a partnership based upon one side, where one was fixated on business and the other one was fixated on business too, but not on the aspect of business to where it was going to be efficient and beneficial on both sides. And that's where you got to start putting your checks and balances. So we know people. When you get into a relationship, you know people. You say, well, okay, yeah, all right. If you're participating in these sort of things right here, and you don't put a check on it right then, and you just allow it to go on right then, that's a part of your business portfolio. Oh, well, these things and stuff are allowed. And so when you finally had enough of it, right? When you finally had enough of it and you speak on it, now what they start, well, there was never a problem and stuff before. So again, go from the business aspect of things and say, well, all right, I'm running this business, and then you got people showing up late for work. I want people checked in and ready to go to work at 7 o'clock. And you're going over there and you're checking old time cards and stuff, and people checking in 7:15, 7:30, 7:45. And you're not saying anything about it, right? You're not doing no write-ups or nothing like that. No reprimands, no verbal warnings, no nothing. You just, oh, well, okay. And then it continues and stuff. And then when you see that now it's starting to affect the business, and that's when usually something is said right then. Oh, when it affects the business to a point where you're starting to see the capital of your business decline. Okay, now I'm gonna put my checks and balances in and say, well, look, okay, guys, y'all got to start showing up to work on time. First thing they're gonna be saying, those employees, man, daggone, you wasn't tripping before. You wasn't tripping about this before. The materials and stuff that are used. The materials that you buy, they're being used more for other things and stuff rather than for the aspect of business. You got internet service and stuff, and every time you look around, somebody's on Facebook or Instagram and stuff like that. Hooked up to your Wi-Fi when the Wi-Fi is supposed to be set up for doing things and stuff in business. You don't put your checks and balances in right then that's going to be the portfolio of your business. People can count on going into your place of business and saying, well, as soon as I get this little bit of work done, I'm gonna be on the internet. I'm gonna be on the internet and stuff like that. So the places that are more refined, right? The places that are more refined, the places that are making more money in business are those who have their checks and balances in place from the start, and they say, well, the second you screw up, they own you. They own you. Because I can't think of any person out here, right? Despite the fact of where you stand in your relationship, right? And they say, well, money doesn't buy happiness or whatever. I've never seen a person come up to me yet and say that, well, you know what? I have enough money. I have enough money. And so I have the opportunity, right? I have a real absolute opportunity stand right in front of me to make more money. And just now, you know what? No, I'm not going to mess with it. I'm not going to mess with it and stuff. So you got to incorporate that into that with your family, because a lot of the things that you're going to be doing with your family is going to be more business than emotional. And sometimes, a lot of times emotion is just used against you to say, well, you know what, you're such a horrible person. You're such a horrible person because all you think about is business. So what other way is there? If you remove the business factor, what other way is there to take care of things, right? Especially the basic things, food, clothing, and shelter. How can you get these things from any other perspective other than business? And so, I issue that challenge. I issue that challenge to anyone. If you can show me how you can get the 3 basic essentials, food, clothing, and shelter, and not use it from a business and get these things from not using a business perspective, I'm all ears. So in trucking, it's just like anything else that you do. Don't let nobody use trucking as a cop out to say, well, because you're not at home, because you're going to be running OTR, regional, or whatever and stuff, and you're away from the house for a day or 2 or 2 days or for a week or a month or whatever, is that, because you're not there, right? You have no say so in about what goes on in the affairs of the house. All right, Mr. Zika. A partnership is based upon the say-sos of both sides. And so, yeah, you have to have a common agreement. You have to have a common agreement and stuff in order to push things on to the next level. But if you're not doing it from a business perspective, and again, you look at the businesses and say, yeah, you can do that too. Yeah, you get the money. You get the money, but you also understand is that, there's rules in the business that you run. And when you're in a partnership, then you have to come to the common agreement and stuff, right? About we both understand what the business is. We both came to agreement about what the portfolio of our business is going to be and stuff, and it's going to be something that can be reasonably done on both sides. So they understand your sacrifice. They understand your sacrifice from your business perspective, and then you also understand their sacrifices. So it should never even be discussed. If you have any kind of disagreements about what's going on, it should never be discussed about what they do and say, oh, well, what you do is a problem, when it's already understood from the start. That's how you build up your business portfolio. These are the rules, regulations, guidelines, policies, and procedures of any business that you start and stuff. And so again, in a relationship, it's from a business perspective. It's going to be mostly business. So, if you're doing things and stuff like I notice a lot of men want to talk about the fact that, well, hey man, I'm in a they want to talk about this simping thing, right? They're all, well, I'm on some simping stuff, right? Oh, that person is a simp. Well, from your business portfolio, right? When you set up your business, it was understood that, well, I'm gonna be coming with all the money, and this person right here doesn't have to do anything. And so now, you look around and somebody's telling you, okay, well, you simping, right? You simping and stuff. And so again, I mean, if that's your port, if you're cool with it, right? If that's how you set up your business in order to do what you have to do, then so be it. But you can't just come and change it up and stuff because now somebody want to turn you on to some game, right? If that's what they want to call it, they want to turn on some game and stuff like that and say, well, hey man, listen, if I were you, I wouldn't do that. It's a little bit too late when you're on the business side of stuff, because if you're trying to receive game and stuff like that, then what you understand is that you're doing things and stuff wrong, right? That's the first thing. I'm accepting the fact that I'm doing things wrong and that I'm going to be reconstructing every single thing that I do to move towards this new level, to move towards this efficiency that I'm trying to ascertain. So if I'm under new management and stuff, then yeah, I'm under a new way of thinking. But again, partnerships are going to be brought up. They're going to be brought up. And so, with this new way of doing things and stuff, again, it's going to go back to the first time that you establish yourself. If what you putting out there isn't going to be to the benefit of the partner and they decide that they're going to walk, but you see that what you're doing, right? But if you see that what you're doing is going to be beneficial if it's going to be beneficial for you, and you got to be real with yourself. If what you're doing, right, this portfolio is going to be beneficial for you and not so beneficial for the other person, and they decide that they're going to walk, let them go. Let them go. Now you can start being emotional and saying, well, you know what? The whole thing about love is that I love you to a point that I'm not trying to hinder you in anything that you do. I'm not trying to hinder you. So the best, when you're in love with somebody, letting them go is an ultimate form of love. It's not a form of hate. It's a form of love. Like, okay, well, listen, I love you, I love you, but I know that what I'm going to do and stuff is not going to be beneficial for it. We're going to always be bumping heads. But I don't see no other way, right? I'm still going towards this. And there's no point of you. Now, if you come with me, right, then understand this is the way things are going to have to be. If that's understood, then it can't be used against you later. Hey, you understood what it was. And it's the same thing on the other side too. On the flip side too. If they come up and they want to start doing a different thing in the aspect of business, and you don't like what's being presented, you got a chance to walk. But don't stay because, oh well, I love this person, I'm going to be around them. I want to be with them and stuff like that. That's cool if you want, but you got to also understand is that you're also accepting the terms and conditions of the new contract that you're in. And it's not going to be up for negotiation. It's not going to be up for negotiation. And so, if you decide to stay, then you understand that these new things are going to be going on and stuff, or, that's what it's going to be. Now, if you're on your business like you're supposed to be, and you see things and stuff, and that's the thing there. We see things and stuff that's going on. And then we want to be in denial and say, oh no, they're not going on and stuff. See, that's your problem right there. Because you, as a business person, failed to address an issue that's going on in your business. that's going on in your life. You didn't choose to address it. You chose to ignore it. You chose to ignore this stuff when you knew it's a problem. You don't do that anywhere. You see, even with your body, it's a understanding from business. It's a business perspective. You know, when you sitting there, you sitting there, you having complications with your breathing. You know, or you're having like I said, problems with your breathing. You're bleeding. Profusely or whatever, and then I'm in denial and stuff. Instead of me going over here and finding out what's going on, right? You know something wrong with you, but you just in denial, and then you find out years later that this thing that you discovered so many years ago and stuff is now going to be taking your life. It's no point in trying to come up now and say, well, hey man, daggone, well, let's do something about it now. You got cancer and stuff like that. You don't understand. You know something's wrong with you, but you don't have that understanding. So you're in a business transaction with yourself. I want to get an understanding of what's going on with my body so I can treat my body better, to put the things in it necessary for it to be more efficient. Because I'm not trying to die anytime soon and stuff, if I can help it. But you just choose to deny it and stuff like that. Oh, well, I'm fine and stuff. You fine, you bleeding every day. Oh, I'm fine. And then it's getting worse and worse and stuff like that because you failed to identify the fact that you identify that you got something going on, but you fail to do anything about it. So it's the same thing in relationship. Same thing in business. When you know something's going on from the start, you got to start putting your checks in, right? You know something ain't right. Oh, wait a minute. I need to get an understanding and stuff like that. Even if you don't even want miscommunication going on. Help me to understand what's going on, because this is what I think is going on and stuff. And so once it's explained to you, oh, this is what's going on right here, and it's still within the parameters of business. Okay, all right. But if you see that it's counterproductive, okay, well, we need to address this issue. And if this issue is something that's going to be counterproductive for the efficiency of our business, right, then it has to be either it's going to be addressed, it's got to be eliminated, or I got to take steps. Because it's going against the policies, procedures, terms, and conditions of what we got set up as a team. All right, TBE Trucking, what's going on? And so, at the end of the day, that's what it's about. So see, when you start looking at, people again start looking at certain individuals and stuff like that and say, oh man, you know what? They got it going on and stuff like that. Of course. Because when it's understood and stuff from the perspective of business, right? And you're in a partnership, it's all hands on deck. It ain't this one person doing everything while this person sitting back and doing nothing. It's all hands on deck. They might, so when you're in the partnership perspective, their duty, and again, it might be understood is that, okay, it might seem to you like they're not doing anything. Because again, looks are procedure, and we're very judgmental. Let's not deny that either and stuff. We're very judgmental because we want to sit there, we look at the outwardly things and stuff and say, well, if we're not seeing those things that's supposed to be generating those stuff that we're supposed to be moving towards, I'm not going to be rolling with it, right? Oh, well, if I look at this person's video and I don't see him with 8 or 9 trucks, then, well, he's not trying to go on the same way and stuff that I'm going on, so I don't need to listen to him. But, at the same time, you might listen to a person who got 8 or 9 trucks and stuff. And so, and he might just be, this person might be sitting at a dealership and they might have access to those trucks and stuff like that. And, they got all the stuff photoshopped and make it seem like that's what it is. And so, again, looks are deceiving. But you can't go from a look perspective, and talk about, well, I'm trying to get this game and stuff like that, guys. I'm a person, you're not going to be seeing me with all the flashy stuff. I'm not going to be sitting there with jewels and fancy cars and all that other stuff there. Those things and stuff don't intrigue me. They don't. But it's not to say that it's a bad thing and stuff. If you into it, if you like those things and stuff like that, hey, cool, move towards them. I'm just telling you how to get the capital necessary and stuff in order to move your business to the next level. That's the thing there. Whatever you do on your personal step, that's on you. But just don't be looking for those things and stuff on my video. I'm not, I'm just not that type of person. And again, it's nothing wrong with it. It's just saying that's just me. You know. But that's the discussion of family. Is that if you decide to get out here, and drive trucks and stuff, understand is that, this whole OTR thing that people are discussing, like, oh man, it's over the road. Everything that you do is going to be over the road. Everything that you do is going to be over the road and stuff. Even if you get a local job, there is a possibility that you're not going to make it home. What happens when your clock hits zero? What happens when your clock hits zero and stuff and you're still 2 hours away from the house? They're not going to, some people might let you PC to the house. Like, yeah, hey, come on, PC to the house. No problem. Then some people and stuff like, no, once your clock hits zero, park that thing for 10 hours and stuff, and that's that. So, when you're on the aspect of business, even if you do the same thing every day, you can't just hit a clock at 9 o'clock, right? You can't hit a clock at 9 o'clock and then, 10 hours later and stuff, at 6 o'clock. No, at 7 o'clock, 10 hours later or 11 hours later, you're going to be right back in the same spot that you were and stuff. And I'm going to pick up, I'm going to go home. That's, we move towards those things and stuff, but it's things that's going to hold you up, right? It's so many factors and stuff that's out here. I'm not even going to go through the names and stuff. But the thing is that there are very real issues and stuff. And then, you build yourself upon the fact, oh, well, I'm going home because I'm local. That don't mean nothing. What you're doing is, in the business that you're in, right, is that you're operating, where you're operating is to a point where you're not going long ways from the house. And so it's a good possibility that you might get home. But in case you don't, are you prepared? In case that you don't, are you prepared and stuff? And so a lot of people aren't. That's why when they get the local gig and the first time they don't make it to the house, oh man, I quit. Man, I quit and stuff, because I'm going somewhere else. They promised me I'm gonna be home every single day and stuff. And I had to stay at this motel or I had to stay in this truck and stuff for one night. I can't do that. So in trucking, the thing is that it's a real possibility. But when you're going in from a business perspective, right? You're going into the interviews and stuff like that. They're not telling you the truth. All right, Mr. Sunwater Flow. Shout out to my man Sunwater Flow. That's my partner right there and stuff, man. That's my partner right there and stuff, man. Shout out to Sunwater Flow. But when you go into this trucking thing, right? They're not as forthcoming about how the business and stuff is done. That's why a lot of people get in, they get discouraged and say, well, you know what? I don't want to do this because, see, the truth is, if they told you the truth, about what was going on, yeah, a lot of people wouldn't roll with it. They're like, no, you know what? Nah, I can't do that. Or it would just make you change up your perspective and say, man, hey, listen, you know what? All right, this is the way the business is and stuff, right? So I got to make some real changes to say, well, yeah, I'm going to be doing this because overall the money that I make and stuff is going to be good, right? On the business aspect of things. But, the reality is that I know some days I'm not going to make it home, right? So you can put those, so then you take it to your partner and you present those issues and stuff there. So that way there's no misunderstanding, right? If you don't make it to the house, hey, listen, I'm 2 hours away from the house. I'm out of hours, and this is where I'm going to have to hunker down and stuff. So so that they don't make any kind of plans and stuff like that. Oh, well, you missed a meal, you know, you missed a meal and stuff, or, other weak-minded things start to intervene into the aspect of business. Oh, well, you're at some woman's house. You're at some woman's house and stuff, because again, when you're in a partnership, people got to be strong. People got to be strong and stuff. Let's see what it said. Mrs. Zika. Also, if you drive local and you see your partner every day, you're going to argue all the time and get tired of each other. And I'm going through that right now. Okay. The arguing thing, I can guarantee you, the arguing thing that you're arguing about is something from a business perspective. The thing is that you're going to have disagreements. You're going to have disagreements, and that's totally understandable. You come from a different school. You come from a different set of ideology, school of thought, training, so on and so forth. The fact that we have differences and stuff that's what makes us so unique. And so you got to understand when it's a disagreement. And then you got to understand when you're in an argument, because an argument doesn't get you anywhere at the end of the day. It's going to raise your blood. It's going to raise up your blood pressure. And then it's going to lead you to saying things and stuff that shouldn't be said, because you're going into the lower self. You're going into the lower self and stuff. And see, this is where a lot of the profanities and all this other stuff start coming out. Even though it's not to say that you hate this person or whatever, you just hate the particular situation that you're in. You hate the fact that you're arguing, that you have to raise your voice. You hate the fact that you're not agreeing with what's going on and stuff, right, with the other person, and that we can't see eye to eye and stuff. I hate that the way that I'm discussing is not to a point to where they can see it, right? They can actually see what's going on inside of my mind. And I can't find the words to describe what's going on in here and stuff. And if they can only see it, right, then they could probably get a better understanding about the perspective of what we're having a disagreement about, which leads into an argument. And then the argument, transcends into something, well, I ain't gonna say transcend, because transcend means it's rising up, but you're descending into something lower and lower and lower and lower, to a point that now where it's not even a discussion anymore about the disagreement, but it was the things that were said during the argument that you now have to start to confront. So this is where you have to activate the higher self and the lower self. Okay? The disagreement, first, it got to be an understanding about what the disagreement is. And when you see it when you see it start to descend and not transcend, that's when you know then, okay, it's time to cut this thing off right here. Because the only thing that can defeat ignorance is intelligence. And when you're in a partnership, understand now, you're coming in with different ideologies, schools of thought, training, so on and so forth. Remember, because of our differences, it makes us unique. Keep that in mind and stuff, right? And don't let it go to any level below what it's already on. If it's transcendent, okay, you continue. And then eventually, whatever it is that you're discussing, you want a solution to the problem. You bring up a solution and then you implement it. In arguments, oh man, it's never going to be, the problem is going to be talked about but not addressed. And so no solution is ever going to be implemented, because no solution is ever going to be brought on the table. As well, you know what? Hey, I hate you, and I hate everything about you and all this other stuff here. And it's like, well, I hate what you're doing at this particular moment here and stuff. And then it's going to look like, oh, well, it's going on all the time. It's going on all the time and stuff. Oh, I hate the way you spend money. When you're going to spend money, you're always on Amazon all the time and stuff, like, you're always on on the internet all the time buying stuff. You know, like, well, hey, if people buy things, they purchase things. They're getting it for the, you know, they're getting it for the aspect and stuff of, they're getting it for the aspect of, you know, the efficiency of business. You know, so if it was a problem and stuff before, it should have been addressed right then when it was a problem. But you can't, you know, you can't bring these things up and stuff later on and talk about, okay, change now, right? Because, you know, when you're in a partnership and you're talking about changing up policy or whatever, then, you know, that's some real stuff. You're talking about changing up the way things and stuff are being done. And if it's been done and stuff for so much time, of course things are going to be said. Just because you see the person every day and stuff, hey, we see ourselves every day. We see ourselves every day. We see the things that we interact with every day. But the person that we're in a partnership with and stuff, you know, because we see them every day, now it's a problem. It was a problem. It was a problem to start with. And so, you know, if that's the thing now and stuff is that, you know, being around this person every single day is going to be a problem to you, then again, that should be addressed and stuff, you know, before you go into this partnership and say, well, hey, I don't think this is a good idea. Because, you know, honestly and stuff, and, you know, again, that, you know, it requires you to be honest. Honestly, I can't deal with seeing the same person every single day. That's just not me. That's not how I do things and stuff like that, you know. So, you know, again, if that's the deal, okay. Again, that needs to be addressed if it's a problem. But it can't be a problem and stuff, you know, 5-10 years later. Okay, man, I can't stand being around you every single day and stuff like that. No, something else. It's always been a problem and stuff. You never addressed it. And now 10 years later, when that cancer then became stage 4 cancer, you know, when it was stage 1, it was a stage 1 cancer and stuff like that. And now it's stage 4 and it's terminal. And now it's terminal. Now you want to address it. Because it's going to be the death of something. And then the other thing is that you want to use a stage 1 treatment. You want to use a stage 1 treatment to use against the stage 4 cancer. Treatments are only going to be beneficial and stuff towards whatever stage and stuff that you have. If you're in stage 1, you use a stage 1 treatment. But at the same time, don't use a stage 4 treatment on a stage 1. Now you're being extreme. Now you're being extreme and stuff. And so, you know, I hope with that it didn't go over a lot of people's heads. You use the skills and stuff that's necessary to address the issue at hand. And don't use anything else and stuff. You know, you're having some kind of chest pain, you don't go and have open heart surgery for chest pain. You know, get you some Tylenol and stuff, and then see how that works. But at the same time, don't be denying the fact that, well, hey man, I got chest pains and stuff, and I'm just gonna work it out, stuff like that, and it's just gonna go away on its own. Don't do that either. Acknowledge the fact that you have it, and then do something about it. But don't go extreme with it. Don't go extreme with it, because the issue that you have and stuff, you know, again, it's an issue, but it doesn't require you and stuff, man, to go overboard. So, anything that I talk about, I always use myself as an example. So, again, the reason why I haven't been going live or dropping videos and stuff is because I've been having Um, I've been having these same issues and stuff, right, with family. And so um, they are forgetting certain things that I talked about. And so now they're in the reprimand phase and stuff, which a lot of people they don't like to be in that reprimand phase and stuff for going against policy and procedure, you know, the way things and stuff are done. But it was an agreement when we went into a partnership. It was an agreement. And so now, that they're going against policy and stuff like that, certain steps have got to be taken. And so, they're not doing things from a business perspective. Now they want to, now they want to be all emotional. They want to be all emotional and start talking about your faults and this, like, oh well, I'm not home like that and stuff, every little thing that they have and stuff, right? That's a fault of mine. That's a fault of mine. They want to use that again. They want to use that and say, okay, well, this is the reason why this is going on or that's going on and stuff. And I'm not letting them use that narrative. I'm like, what does that have to do for the aspect of business? 10 years ago, 10 years ago, when I needed the help, 10 years ago when I needed the help and stuff, you couldn't help me. And that was understood. That was understood. But you can't come up 10 years later and now try to take over things and stuff and say, well, I got this new idea, I got this new idea and stuff. I'm gonna just go forth with it and stuff, and then I'm gonna just change how the way things and stuff is being done in business. When you had the same opportunity. Like, if you're going to college, and then you're getting all these degrees and stuff like that, and so you brought this portfolio to me and stuff and told me that if I invest into helping you get this certain degree or whatnot and stuff, it will help you in the end and stuff, help us get where we need to go. And based upon your presentation, I say, well, okay, yeah, I'll make the investment, right? But this is what I'm going to respect. This is what I'm going to expect in return is that, all right, if you're going into this, if you're getting this degree, then you're going to be going into this career field, correct? And so, all right. So you get the degrees and stuff, and now you don't go into the career field. So that means that I lost out on my investment. Because you got this degree. And stuff that you were saying you was going to get that was going to help us overall and stuff, and you got it and you didn't do anything with it. So now I got a new plan and stuff. I'm going to go get this other degree, right? That's the problem. Is that I need to connect it with this other degree. And so if I get this other degree, then that's what's going to connect to this first one. And when I get it with this first one, that's what's going to help me get into this field. It's going to help us in our business dealings and stuff around the houses. So again, I reinvest and say, okay, all right. So again, based upon your portfolio, yeah, you showing me that, okay, that might be the holdup and stuff. And so you get the degree, and then it's the same thing all over again. You don't go into the field, right? Which was the understanding based upon the fact of what you presented. You're supposed to went into this field and stuff like that. You got this degree, you didn't do it. So now, the problem is it's not the degree, it's just the whole job thing and stuff all together. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my CDLs and stuff, and then get out here and stuff and start driving trucks just like you. Okay. Now you're in my profession. So if it's anybody that can speak intelligently about this career field and stuff, right, will be myself, being I've been in this game 18 years consistently, 3 trucks and 3 trailers, 18 years consistently, not taking a break and saying, well, I'm going to go over here and do this for a little while and stuff and then transition myself back into this. No, 18 years I've been doing this. Okay, so Well, what's your perspective about what's your perspective about, trucking and so on and so forth? And then now I'll give you the game and stuff like that. And so if it's anybody that understands the fact about trucking, again, it's myself, and also knowing who you are and the makings of you, I have to conclude the fact that, well, even though it seems like a good idea, right, based upon what you're presenting, the fact that I know you and your past dealings, it wouldn't be a good idea for you to make this transition into this, because certain things are going to happen in this career field and stuff, and you're not equipped enough to deal with what's going to be going on and stuff. And ultimately what's going to happen is this right here. And this is why I'm going to have to decline the fact that this is why I'm going to have to decline the fact that I can make any kind of investment. So you go get your CDL anyway and stuff like that. All right. So you go get it anyway and stuff. Understand, you're on your own and stuff. You are a solo entity now. But you can't come up with the perspective of saying that you're going to help me in my business when everything is, I'm on, it's over for me pretty much. 18 years, this truck is going to be paid off. This truck right here that I'm driving is going to be paid off in October. What, 4 short months, this truck going to be paid off. So I don't have a problem and stuff with that. I don't have a problem with that and stuff. 3 years ago when I was going down here and getting this truck and stuff, there was nothing that was being said about it. So I had to go in as a solo entity into this investment right here. The money and stuff that was involved into getting this truck and stuff, again, I presented the idea. You didn't think that the investment and stuff was worth it, and so you went and did your own thing. Totally cool and understandable. So now that things are over with and stuff, now, okay, yeah, I want to come up and help you. Help me do what? help me do what? Spend the money that I'm going to save by not sending Lone Mountain and stuff any more money for the truck that I had to pay for. Just help me to understand and stuff. And so, again, that there was nothing that was presented. And so the fact that I'm coming in with something real, okay, well, I don't like that. I don't like that and stuff. That's where the emotions start coming in at and stuff like, oh, well, Rooster, you're being too, you're being hard to get along with and stuff like that. No, I'm just dealing with things and stuff from a business perspective. I'm just dealing with things from a business perspective because, hey, when everything is said and done, if I want to start cutting back, right, which is ultimately what I'm trying to do is cut back and stuff. I don't want to be out here longer than what I have to be. Get what I got to get and stuff and just go home. I saw during the time and stuff when it was a time to shut down and stuff, when this coronavirus and stuff was going on, I said, this is the perfect time right here to be shutting down. But then the reason why I had to run was because I had to get my son a car and I had to get my niece a car. And so what I looked at and stuff, I said, you know what? I wasn't running hard enough and stuff, and I didn't incorporate all these things and stuff when business was exceptionally well, right? I didn't have the funds and stuff available to say, okay, all right, let's go get this car for you and get this car for you and stuff, and I'll go and shut down. So it's either shut down and say, well, listen, I'll get your car another time, or get your car now and stuff, the thing that I know that you need in order for you to go out here and take care of the things you need to take care of. And so that's why I had to get out here and work. And caught the corona and stuff, and I had to work all the way through that. But that was the sacrifice and stuff there. So, I can look back at it now when everything's all said and done and say, well, okay, what could I have done more differently? And so now, while everything is kind of getting back and stuff on the up and up, right? Businesses are starting to open back up. The corona is not as bad as it was and stuff when it was first introduced. This is the time now and stuff to start incorporating these things and say, well, I need a fund for like when if something like this happens again. If they decide to stuff, they want to start shutting things down because of not because of things on the industry perspective, but something that was dealing with sickness, a pandemic. I need to set up a pandemic fund so that if they ever go into this again and stuff, and I say, well, all right, you know what? Hey, I'm gonna shut down because hey, it's a possibility I might catch this virus. And the thing was, I got lucky. I got lucky. Stricken with sickness and stuff like that. I still had to endure. That was a very hard thing and stuff like that. Shoot. So I don't want to do that now. And so, you present these things to your partner and say, hey, listen, these are some things that we really need to consider. These are some things we need to consider and stuff because, it was something that was brand new. Nobody was prepared for it. Nobody was prepared for it and stuff. I mean, but now that we know, right? Let's not be so let's not ignore this thing and say, okay, no, ain't nothing going on. Nothing like this is gonna happen again. So like I said, that's why I had to work. That's why I had to work and stuff. Other than that, man, shoot, I would just stay home. That would have been the more responsible thing. Kind of what I did was reckless too, extremely reckless. But when you go into a partnership, you're not going to have all the answers to everything. I wish we could, but we try to do the best we can with what we have. But understanding the fact, family is no different than business, because most of the stuff that you do with your family is going to be business oriented anyway. And you're going to have to incorporate those skills and stuff there and say, well, you know what? This emotion thing and stuff like that, it has its time and its place. It has its time and its place and stuff. But that emotions aren't going to get your bills and stuff paid. But you got to understand, you can't be dealing with no emotional person to where when things and stuff go bad, right, they turn into an emotional wreck and then they're kicking you out of the house or telling you that you don't have access to those things dealing with your business because I'm in an emotional state right now. I'm an emotional wreck. So, no, I don't grant you access to the things and stuff dealing with your business. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's corporational sabotage. If you do it anywhere else, and stuff, you're sitting there and you're in this business. You're in this business and stuff, and then because somebody becomes an emotional wreck, they become an emotional wreck. Oh, I'm going to be shutting everything down. You're not going to have no access to your computers. You're not going to have no access to your computers. I'm going to shut down the internets and stuff, so that way you can't keep an eye on your business and stuff that's going on. I'm shutting off all access to your capital so you can't make any kind of purchases and stuff, and then I'm locking you out of the building. If a person do something like that, they will take that person and they'll be in some kind of mental institution. That's what they would do. And so, but we find ourselves a lot being in these positions right here. You know the type of person you're dealing with. You come home and stuff like that, and then something gets said, and now things got to get thrown. All this stuff you paying good money for, TVs and stuff like that, hammers and stuff going to them all of a sudden. I'm throwing your TVs and tearing up, cutting up all your furniture and whatnot, and this, that, or whatever. I'm just tearing up the whole house where we live at. You know what I'm saying? That's sabotage right there. And usually when people do that type of sabotage, the other person has somewhere to go. They got somewhere to go. They're leaving you and stuff with the bag and say, okay, well, you deal with it. You deal with it and stuff. And then the fact that, well, all these things and stuff are destroyed, and so now you are left with the fact that you got to fix it. Even though they destroyed it, you left with the fact you got to go fix it. People in business don't do that. Because when you understand the aspect of business, when you tear somebody's stuff up, right, you got to be willing to go ahead and fix it. Well, I don't have the money, but I got an insurance company and stuff. Let me share and exchange that information and stuff there. You call them, they'll get you straight, and then I have to deal with the insurance company that way. But see, you know, when we in our house and stuff, we just forget about all that stuff. Like, oh, well, you know what? Hey, they're off the hook. They're just a little emotional and stuff like that. And so, you know, hey, just forget the fact that all this stuff that we work hard for, or, you know, I put time, energy, and resources and stuff into is destroyed all of a sudden. We're just going to forget about all that and stuff, man. That's nonsense. That's complete and total nonsense stuff, because you wouldn't take that from any other person and stuff. And so your partner is no different. But the fact that they can do it, is very telling. And so you got to be on the aspect of, well, you know, hey, listen, there are consequences. When you do things like that, there are consequences to it. And despite the fact, oh, well, you know, whatever excuse you want to use stuff, well, I was an emotional wreck, I was drunk or whatever, fine. Be as it may and stuff. The thing is that now consequences got to be rendered for the action that you took. Because like it or not, it was a sound decision. Because you're always given the opportunity to do the thing and stuff that you wasn't supposed to do. So you're saying, well, you know, in my fitment of rage or whatever and stuff like that, I went over here and started tearing things up. You know, you also got the same opportunity. Okay, in my fitment of rage and stuff, I'm not going to do anything. Sound decision. It takes a sound mind and stuff in order to be in it. So, you know, again, when you're going into a partnership, you got to look at the activities that they are in to see, are the decisions that they're making something sound, right? Or is it going to be something that's obscured? You know, they doing a bunch of drinking and smoking. They doing a bunch of drinking and smoking. Every time you're around them, they got to be doing some drinking and some smoking and stuff like that. You know, that obscures the vision. But if you decide that you want to be in a partnership with them and stuff, then you understand that you're taking that into your portfolio. So things are going to be destroyed. So when they get destroyed, ain't no point in trying to get emotional and talk about, oh man, look at all this stuff that got tore up. Feel sorry for me. I want you to feel, hey, I want everybody that know me to feel sorry for me and stuff, right? For this partner that I'm with that I already know has me. I have an understanding of the fact that they're going to be tearing things up the second they get upset. When they get into a fitment of rage or whatever and stuff, things are going to get destroyed. But I want you to feel sorry for me though, even though I'm in full understanding of this. And so now you're against this person right here, when real questions got to be asked. Is that, well, hey, okay, if you decide that you want to show that, number one, they ain't got nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with you. That's why I don't get into those issues and stuff about, you know, mediation, what y'all need to do and stuff as a couple. No, I put this information and stuff out there, and then, you know, that's that. You take it and then you generalize on it. You know the things that you want to do and the things that you don't want to do. You know the things that you want going on, the things you don't want going on. And if the partner that you win and stuff, if they can't see that understanding, hey, you know, you can still deal with them, but they can't just be on no partner level. Okay, you're going to be over there, and I'm going to be over here. But we ain't on no partner stuff, because to be a partner, I got to be in business with you. And, you know, you're not a very good business partner. You're good at other things and stuff, but you just ain't good with business. And so we're going to leave that aspect out, and then whatever's left over, we'll deal with that. I can be emotional and stuff like that, but, you know, these things and stuff that, the things that are around me, the things that I do and stuff, those business things, they can't coexist in the same spot. That let you know right there and stuff that, well, you know, hey, listen, I'm trying to be efficient. I'm trying to be efficient and stuff, you know. That's why Walmart's so popular, because it's a one-stop shop. And that's what people want. I want to do my grocery shopping. I want to get my things and stuff over here.